Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call. Don Wolski, I know you're online. And we have, is Pat Benner there? She's not here. But maybe she didn't get the time change. And we have Anne is excused because she has a conflict. Patty, Brian, Don, and our liaison. So first of all, can we go, let me put I got your unknown call. Is it 832? Are you at 832 area code? Okay. It's online. Okay. We look at the minutes from first of all, let's approve today's agenda. So I have at the top of the list.
I move we approve the agenda.
Okay. Can I have a second? Thank you, Brian. All right, and then did everybody have a chance to, well, probably you did not have a chance, John, to look over the minutes if you didn't get them. Can you trust me? You're okay. Anybody have a question about the minutes or any edits in January? Someone like to take a motion?
I'll move we approve them. So please, I fine.
Thank you. And a second. Thank you, Brian. And by the way, anybody who's participating virtually can also weigh in if they'd like. Okay, so standing order to record the meeting, just reminding you all, and they have been getting posted pretty promptly on YouTube. I've always made anybody who wants to view them, but people do, so yeah, they're there. And we did change the meeting time to accommodate budget and finance. As Jeff explained, they sometimes start at 9, but they sometimes go over to 9, and they moved to this one because it's a little bit more private for their board meeting.
So this is a permanent change?
It is, apparently.
Right.
Apparently it is.
It's a permanent change.
Yes. The meeting from now onwards, hey, get to sleep a little bit late, right? So some things that aren't comments that aren't on the agenda. It's been a very action-filled month since we last met. We lost all of our waterfall in the ponds, apparently. And I guess, did anyone know if they determined that it was Berkeley?
So I called Josh this morning just to check up with him. He is in constant contact with DNR. He called them Monday, the latest time, to get an update, and there's no report out on the cause as of yet.
Well, let's just say that it's probably pretty obvious that it was avian flu since it's been all over the Eastern Shore. And, just I drive down here, I'm not seeing, fields full of geese.
But we haven't lost all of that. You said we lost all of the water?
Well, we lost all of the domestic geese that lived on the Southgate ponds. All of them.
Are we seeing deadly ducking geese?
I had 3 in my backyard.
Really?
Are they, wild geese?
But when I go by Southgate the other day, it was not.
Yeah.
There were geese everywhere.
Yeah. I just got here on Monday afternoon and I drove around the ponds several times. All I've seen are some ducks. They might even be buffalo.
I've seen,
There's geese
a couple of different types.
All right. Well, they're not all dead, but the domestic ones are. And, if you go back to the whole reason we started the sign project, the crossing sign, mostly we were concerned about the domestic geese who cannot fly. And then, of course, when the others lose their flight wings, now it's like nature's taking care of the alleged loose pond.
2 days ago, I was coming back from Food One in the afternoon, and then on the Southgate Pond, the way I was going, on the opposite side of the road, the geese were crossing the road and they had the traffic backed up for our hello.
Okay. Well,
Another theory now.
what?
This is by far the coldest winter I've felt down here. I've been very hard.
Yeah.
I can easily stop here, Sam.
Going up south.
Maybe that's it. I mean, there's probably been ice. The ponds have probably iced over a few times. And
For weeks.
thankfully, I have missed most of the snowstorms, so I wasn't here. But again, I saw a lot of chatter on Facebook pages that are, just independent Facebook pages for Ocean Pines residents. People saying, "Did somebody poison the geese?" And so,
But what I saw was they did it again
Right. I don't know if we need to put out a statement that we just ignore people who don't do the research. That have you not heard that there's a bird flu epidemic? Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that's,
So we don't know for sure yet about
There's been no official report out as of yet.
but am I the only person that is seeing fewer geese around, or is it
I don't see much difference.
okay?
I mean, I think it all typically goes down in the winter time, and I have, like on Manglin Creek, I still see the typical winter
Okay.
geese coming by.
Are you seeing such low tidings? It's,
That was a neat tide. Do you know about that?
no, say they call it a blowout or something.
No, it wasn't a blowout. It's a neat tide. It's the sun and the moon
Oh, yeah.
both having the effect on the tide, because the moon usually
But isn't that monthly or is this a super?
it's a special thing that has to do with the location of the sun and the location of the
I have an app on my phone. I get space stuff all the time, and they actually had a picture of it. It was really cool.
It showed pictures in the paper of Route 4050 Bridge where
yeah
Oakridge was,
yeah
I couldn't believe it.
yeah.
So the other thing that wasn't on the agenda, because I kind of only found out about it recently, was the sewage spill. For those of you who live on Nankin Creek, I mean, how does this happen? There's, I guess they have, I know water mains get, cold weather will do something to them, but there's a sewage main.
There's a pump station, which I've never seen because it's behind a fence, but there's a pump station right there at where Capitol Road comes in to the Parkway.
Okay.
If you go straight across where the cop sits to get you, there's a pump station out there. And I don't know the details of it, but I'm pretty sure it's associated with that pump station.
And because there's another pumping station or sewage treatment or something right behind the shopping center where the bagel place is, I forget which one is what, Maitland Meadows or whatever. And okay, so it's Worcester County's problem. Are we going after them to do any kind of mitigation, or is there anything we can do? I mean, you guys live on,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I heard it was a pipe break.
it was a pipe break. It was 1,200 gallons is what I heard. And the timing, there was a moratorium on don't eat shellfish,
Yeah,
which
look.
we're not going to do. And then they gave like 3 weeks, and somehow, and I think this was semi-scientifically determined that would be the time it would take to flush. And then they put some safety factor on top of it.
Didn't I? Because I said this was the article
Yeah.
that I saw, and I think they said it was March 1st, this
Yeah.
Saturday. But people aren't harvesting shellfish during
No.
anyway.
Way before that came out, I actually got a text from Taylor.
Taylor Swanson, SAT Coastal Trust, asking about if you knew
Yeah,
about
just
it.
to tell us that I'm under pound. That, I was led by Manglin Creek.
Yeah.
With
So no
to everybody.
email from the association went out to anybody, or I mean, they must know who lives. Maybe they know who lives on the creek. It should have gone out. Did I see something in one of the weekly?
That Monday e-blast.
Yeah, the e-blast. Okay.
I would, coming from working out a water utility, not a wastewater, but a water utility, things happen, mains break,
Oh, yes.
and especially it could have been associated with this weather again. It's unusually cold. And in the first, I think I saw it, like every time I turned around, I was seeing it on the either text message I got with the weekly. It was in all of the newspapers. I saw it several times, many times in the first few days.
Okay.
So I think that, and plus, if this was July and I had my crab pots in, I'd probably be a whole lot more concerned
Right.
about it. But there's no oyster cages that they know of, and I don't think there are any in Manglin Creek. So I think it's,
Well, but nobody wants sewage in their backyard.
exactly. I didn't, I never saw toilet paper floating down the creek, well, little logs that are from trees or anything. So
Candy bars.
candy bars. So I live on Manglin Creek, and I'm not really
too concerned.
too concerned about it because it is the middle of the winter and you know that things like that happen.
Yeah, it's the freezing and thawing things that break water mains, I guess, and pipes.
And I think short of, like you said, sending emails to the people who live not only on Magnet Creek, but Watertown. I mean, on Magnet Creek, Boston and Watertown and wherever else. Short of that, I think somebody did a really good job of getting information.
Well, I'm
out.
glad that you feel that way because, not being here full time, I exactly picked this newspaper out of my driveway. Oh my goodness, it's huge. Maybe I saw an e-blast though. I think I did.
Yeah, can we assume those mains are from 1968 or 69?
I'm sure that they're quite old.
You know,
I don't know, but
let's fan of these pipes like that are.
Maybe he's more than 50 years old, so if they
Yeah.
could be that old.
I would believe they probably are that old, and it's not unusual for pipes that old to be in the ground.
I would just encourage anybody, if you haven't already subscribed to the e-blast, that's a good way to get news.
And what are the pipes made of?
That'll probably iron. It's not going back that far. It's heavy cast iron. I don't know what they replace it with these days.
So they're not concrete.
No, that's
They don't.
All right.
Okay, so we're satisfied with the response. That's what I wanted to
this way.
do.
Do you agree with my statement that what the information we got was reasonable and?
Yeah, I did. Like you said, being later, I deal by oyster pot outlet.
Have you been checking the one at the swimming racket club?
Yes.
How's that going? Is anything happening? I mean, what do they do in the winter? Do they hibernate?
Oh, they keep growing.
They keep filtering.
White covered with moss. So I took
Okay.
an ice scraper. But besides that, I want to make sure I'm doing the right one though. It is under the sign there.
Yes,
right? Okay.
because the Coastal Base hasn't had one there in a long time.
Oh, that's ours.
I think Don said he cleaned up the sign, right, Don?
Yeah, I got rid of the IT. Hey, I do want to make a point. During that blowout tide, I went over there and I relocated it in some water. The oyster cage was sitting high and dry underneath the dock, so it's actually moved out from underneath the sign to the corner. I didn't know if how long it would be, when the tide was going to come back. So I'm not sure if you relocated it or not, Brian.
It was in fine water when I got there, but mine at my house was so high that it got stuck up on the bulkhead. I mean, so low it got stuck under the bulkhead.
Yeah.
When was this tide?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pictures. Have you seen the pictures from? I have pictures from.
How was yours? How about your tops?
Oh yeah, my oysters were definitely sitting on top of the water.
But they can stay out of the water for
Right, yeah.
like a week or something, right?
I don't know if it's that long, but they're fine. Yeah,
I'm amazed at the size of mine now.
yeah, they grow fast.
I swear they're this big, and it was from Spat. He kept asking mine. I said, "This can't be these guys." Okay. Wow. Good going.
Well, I went to the firehouse, Shaw Firehouse has that oyster thing. I went to that, and I swear the oysters were bigger than my hand. They were huge. They were delicious too, but bigger oysters than I've seen before. Maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah.
One other thing that is not on the agenda, but I started thinking about this because does anybody get the emails from Maryland Coastal Bays? Kevin Smith, I guess the president or whatever CEO of the organization, sent out his newsletter for last month, included information on them not getting their funding. When the government the administration shut down a lot of grants, so
Yeah.
they did not have money to pay, staff salaries, and this led me to be concerned about the shoreline restoration project at the Southgate Pond. I haven't heard any information on that in a while. I was told by Coastal Bays that Josh Davis was the representative from Ocean Pines on that project. But do you know, can you maybe ask?
Yeah, I can.
It's just, is it still happening? I think the grant was already approved, but that apparently doesn't make any difference. Grants are being pulled back all over the place.
I got an email this morning from Lower Coast Trust.
Lower Shore Coastal or Lower Shore, whatever, Lower Shore Trust.
And they were asking people to write to the congressman because their funding had been pulled for, I guess they acquired land. It was about to be pulled in.
Well, I expect everybody who was upset about the possibility of the coastline wind turbines. I don't think that's happening never either because first of all, I think the county rescinded. I understand Worcester County rescinded. First of all, they weren't going to allow them to have that dock space over on the marine. Yeah, West Ocean City, whatever they call that.
Bishop Harbor.
Yeah, Bishop Harbor. And then I read recently that they changed their mind about that. But again, I don't think whatever money was going to U.S. Wind, which isn't really a U.S. company, it's a, and those types of projects I think are all being put on hold because the administration doesn't like passive energy projects. They prefer to eliminate hydro. So.
You guys got this card, it's a fact sheet about.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all, again, my main objection was that they just aren't as efficient. They're too expensive to maintain. You have to put run cable out under the ocean. That's very expensive. And I mean, I like the whole idea of passive energy, solar and wind, but land-based. And I was wondering, does Ocean Pines allow solar panels on houses too?
Sure.
See many. They do?
Absolutely.
I would never get them because I don't have any sun, but be nice to know. Okay, so back to the agenda. What about a Facebook page? I know that we can always go rogue and just say, we're not official Ocean Pines, but I don't know, just information on things that we would like to get out. It just seems to be hard to get things into the weekly EBA.
So I read your previous minute since I saw that was a topic of last meeting. So
Yes.
I sent Linda an email asking for a couple of questions. Is there any issue with this? Do they need permission? Because that's what you all were. And I expect an answer soon.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right, well, we talked about
Well, see, the electric sign it's on paper. It's on its way, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you haven't noticed,
They just took one down.
yeah, we got to take a lot up to put the 5 signs down.
Okay.
To me,
the one on Ocean Parkway near me is still up, the old-fashioned one.
It came down yesterday at the main entrance.
No, there's one kind of back in the Sherwood Forest area.
Okay.
But I did see guys working on that intersection, like maybe they were putting one in right where you turn to the pond by the Southgate Pond.
Yeah. If you come in and turn left, there was one right there in the median. It's gone now.
So to get things on those signs, we need to just send something to John. Okay.
and those signs will be put up as soon as weather allows. Well, they've just been waiting for warmer weather.
Not this week, so.
It's going to get warmer this week.
Yeah.
It's 16 degrees.
Jeff, when is the new food service company take over?
The contract with the Matport Company ends the end of April. And May 1st is a start of a touch of Italy. And don't know any more details about a transition period
Right from it.
that may be required. I don't know. But
No, that's not environmentally.
Well, it is in a way. I mean, they
Just around, I got to ask all my question.
what do they put? Are they using plastic straws? Are they? I know that the president doesn't like paper straws. We do know that plastic straws are dangerous to wildlife, so we can convince them. I just think people should just don't ask for a straw unless you absolutely need one. But
So you're very like a man. So that's.
you don't need them for a beer. Okay. Let's talk about the Green Street columns, which I think, we're very lucky to have that opportunity. I just was wondering if somebody else wants to take a crack at writing one.
I'm a terrible writer, just terrible.
Okay. It's a busy month for me next month. So I'm just, what I would really like to do, since it is the spring newsletter, is talk about how to responsibly care for your lawn and the environment. We just did recycling, so maybe hold off on another one, the do's and don'ts, but because still want to talk about the magnet. But okay, I will do something. It's pretty simple, but I'm sure people won't like it. I say don't use chemical fertilizers, but I think there's a movement that people are starting to realize, especially the grass clipping issue, which is, there's so many mulching mowers and, just leave the grass clippings. You don't need to dump them. But okay, I'll work on that. But if anybody has suggestions for things I should include, again, the Marine Activities Committee might be interested in this, Mike. Where we want to tell people to not, dump stuff into the canals. Eventually they go out, they go into the bays, they go into the ocean. But just for the, yes.
That's our permission to speak. Yes, that is continually being brought up. There's a great deal of concern over that. And people complain about that all the time. So,
well, if your committee has any suggestions of other things we might include in an article about lawn care, just send them on to me. Are you aware of the Green Street column that's in the report every quarter?
okay, it's wrong for me to say no.
Okay. That's usually what happens by the time you actually get the physical copy. They've already posted most of the articles on Facebook or someplace else. Yeah. They're posted onto the Ocean Pines Association website as well. But we have a monthly Green Street column, which we like to try to, educate the community about ways to be greener.
My suggestion, which I think you already know this, is when you tell people not to do it, they get all say, you could help with any of these ideas.
Well, I think
Word it like that or something.
I think, I think I've said this before, but where I am on a canal and I mulch, and I've told every neighbor that I see in that area, if they're blowing their grass out, why they shouldn't do it and what the issues are with the with the canal grass. And most of them are okay. Once in a while, you get a guy gets a little nasty, but
Right.
But it's just I just think people have to understand what the problem is. And the other thing is that I used to always do my from a fertilizer standpoint and anything that I would put on my yard, I would always do that myself. Now I decided I called up True Green and talked to them about it, and they came out and they said they told me that everything they put down right now is not going to be harmful if you have a rain and it goes into the canal. And where I am, I never see any of that sludge or anything. I'm saying it.
Well, it's good. I might have seen this on a local TV station, but there's a movement towards starting to ban harmful chemical fertilizers and other things that are contributing to pollution in waterways. So I know this county hasn't done that yet, but I think it's starting to grow. The movement's starting to grow. So.
And that stuff is out there and is available.
Yeah, you just tell people what the alternative is. Corn gluten is a good fertilizer. It's natural. There's other things that I can't have it here, but in my permanent residence, I have zoysia grass, which chokes out weeds. It loves sun, can't grow in shade, but it's a great, you don't even have to fertilize it. There are other, what are they called? Turf grasses like Bermuda, and I know there's another one that you can grow that don't need. If you have a sunny yard, that's a great solution. You don't have to mow it as much either. So, anyway, okay. I will do the Green Street article. Now, I don't know how this happened that the two events that we were probably planning on, participating as an exhibitor are now back to back in the same weekend. The kickoff is now at the Veterans Memorial Park, which has no shade, pretty much. And I know that Bay Day, I cannot be here for Bay Day because I have a 5 a.m. flight the morning after Bay Day. So I would definitely want to be
Our Hawaii trip.
Destination wedding in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cabo San Lucas. I was there last year, and it's like, I didn't think. What did you tell me you're going to get married there? That's the nephew. So that's
Do we need to go to,
that's one of my questions. Do we want to just do the kickoff? And
I was at both last year. I felt the kickoff we had a lot of traffic
you
and
had more traffic there.
less on big day. Just traffic means everything as far as
Okay.
What are the dates again?
So the kickoff is going to be Saturday, May 17th at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Veterans Memorial Park. And then Bay Day is the following day at White Horse Park here at 10 a.m., 10 to 2.
On the 18th.
Yes, the 18th.
Oh,
That's the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, I guess. So maybe the kickoff needed more time to get their stuff together because originally I thought it was going to be in April. So what does everybody think? Pick one, or do try to do both? And knowing that I can't help if it's on that Sunday.
well, it only blows one weekend rather than 2 weekends.
That's true, but and I don't know about everybody else's availability on that week.
I'm questionable. We leave on May 9th to go across the country, and we're training out and driving back. So
You might not be back.
it's going to be close. So
So that would be losing 2 people for Sunday. Okay,
Yeah.
so why don't we just say, I'll take a vote on this. How many would like us to do both events? Raise your hand or your voice. Nobody. How many would prefer for us just to do the kickoff?
Aye.
Okay, that's what it's going to be then. Now, and considering that you're going to be away, so now you probably can't be the planner for that.
well, what you want to talk about that? I've been struggling a little. I had some ideas. Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
So I have that. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Why don't we talk about our ideas? And I haven't heard from. The other thing is Bay Day. I'm wondering if Coastal Bays, how restricted their funding is. They do depend on volunteers for those types of things too.
Yeah.
But there was got a notice recently. Another thing they were doing, and I was like, I can't be there that weekend. Okay. I'll reach out to Carly or Liz to see, how they are doing. Because it was a pretty kind of scary newsletter that they sent out for January about, but what they weren't getting and how I guess they had to somehow survive on donations or something until they got those grants.
right.
I don't know. I assume they've been restored now, but not everything has been.
Yeah, I'll come.
Yeah, we'll reach out to them, let them know because of this other event that, our committee's other commitments, we can't do Bay Day this year. But first off, find out that it's actually still going on. I mean, that's always been a co-sponsored thing with the association. So
I think that's the.
So,
Yeah.
what are the chances, Jeff, that we can be able to get a little bit of a donation so we can have a giveaway at the kickoff?
Well, they asked about that today because I'm sure if you can, you guys got to get that order in.
Yes, right. Yes, we do.
I was surprised that their turnaround was 7 to 10 days. So it wasn't as
That's not bad, but
But
still, I'll get you an answer. Yeah, I don't know.
I was concerned because I know they've blown the budget on snow removal by about the triple digits, at least maybe, or the quadruple digits.
any idea how many people stopped by our booth? I mean,
Well, I think 200.
for 100.
Well, I think 200 is a good idea. And then if we'd have extras, and we could run. It's always better. You always get a lower price the more you order.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to order stuff like that all the time at my job. So give away items like we actually gave away pop sockets once.
Oh,
Not with Corona. But yeah. So should we did I fill out we phone thing? No.
I'll find out.
Okay, so we're not only looking for a couple $100.
I see. Yep.
And that kind of brings me to talk about that next. Let's go to Horn Point field trip. Don, have you done any more research on that or any more? I don't know. May sounds like it's going to be a busy month. Maybe we should look at another topic. They will step away. Okay. Wait till he comes back. Let's go on to the Recreation and Parks Advisory Committee. I had a couple of exchanges with Becky, the chairperson, and she is, they are interested in working with us. She was very busy because I think she coaches a basketball team, and she said she would be less busy after the season. And she offered to send me the recent charging documents that they had submitted. But I was really curious about a couple of things that I read that had happened that without them even being consulted, including the installation of these slips at the
The jet ski.
swim and racket club. And I guess are they actually things that are in the water?
Yes.
Okay. But in that's a yeah, that's a big expense. And then the other thing was this, the little trail they created that was just a random request from some, or suggestion from and I just, why would the committee not be consulted? Is it my question? And again, is it, would we make suggestions or are they actually considered? We'll find out if they give us money for magnets, tell people how to recycle. Anyway, I just found it very curious.
I do have a question about the floating jet ski docks.
Yes.
Have they gone through the permit process? Because they are just like a floating dock. I know when I had our condo over in Ocean City, there was a permit process you had to go through.
Well,
I had one.
Well, it's the association, but they don't actually own the waterways.
Right.
It's the river. It's St. Martin's River. I don't know.
I guess that's a question for Jeff to take to whoever is processing it. Make
Don,
sure all permit requirements have been taken care of.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if these guys are going to be in the water, is that going to make it harder for people to use? Well, I don't think they should be swimming there anyway, but I know people take their guns down there for swims. Obstruction that is going to create, because there are boat docks right there too, and then you have people that keep their kayaks there. And these are for kayaks? Are they for demo watercraft?
Yeah, personal jet ski watercraft.
Jet skis.
Yeah, personally,
they pollute the water. Yes.
Personally,
John,
personally, I think it's a good utilization of the space since you can't get a boat in there. But once again, I think there's different requirements for a floating jet ski dock than it is just to have a boat parked in there for 6 months out of the year.
Okay. Well,
Actually, if the board wants to make more money out of the marina, and I rent a slip over to marina, so if they want to make more money, they should put more jet ski lifts in somewhere rather than keep jacking my rates up to 12%.
yeah. Well, my objection to jet skis is that they aren't always operated safely, and they do use gasoline-powered engines. Pollutants. I don't think they figured out how to power boats with rechargeable batteries yet. I know there's been some attempts, but it hasn't worked out. Okay, well, I just wonder if how it's going to impact that area. I guess it remains to be seen. Do other people like to sit on that beach or let their kids play in the water, which is mostly you're not supposed to. Sounds safe. Don, are you still there?
I am.
Did you do anything more about researching a Horn Point visit?
Yeah, and since we've had the Bay Day and the opening day moved because I thought we were looking at having that done in April. I guess we just need a date or a couple dates that I could throw out to them to see when would be appropriate.
What does everybody think? June, any month beyond May would be okay with us. I mean, with me, just as long as we had plenty of notice. Is it, what do you think is the best time of year to go there when they're busy? I mean, I know they have camps and things in the summer months. Is it better to wait till fall?
I don't know. Why don't we throw out a couple dates in June and we'll
Okay.
see what they think.
Think of midweek.
Well, we were thinking in place of one of these meetings, which would be, that it doesn't have to be in place. It could be, not on our regular meeting date, though. That's okay.
But just in the middle of that.
Yeah, just,
Got it.
it could be in lieu of, and I remember Pat Benner suggested that we just have our meeting, like, have a lunch meeting on some, where did she say we were? Oxford or someplace. Yeah,
Somewhere good there.
yeah, and which would be fun. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're going to go to field trip, of course, I don't know if anybody has a vehicle large enough for all of us, so it'd probably be a carpool thing. It worked for the visits to recycling plant, so could work again. Yes,
Right. Back to the magnet thing. I'm wondering, of reinventing the wheel. Should I contact the guys down to recycling center? They were so nice. Maybe they already have a template for one.
that's a great idea because
We have a little thing they like to pass out, and we'll just turn it into the magnet. But
somebody has to create the artwork, so that's the
play with that
expense.
Photoshop. But I'm mistaken. If they already have the bullet points that they recommend, since that's where it's going. I
You
didn't
want- you
lose
want to
this
do that?
card though.
Well, I have this card, and actually, I was going to send them. I picked up some extra copies of the the winter report with the article, and I was going to send that to them. So why don't I just go ahead and?
They should. Okay. Yeah.
I just handed him their cards.
Oh, okay.
You can have it safe.
Well,
But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you said.
well, tell you what, we want to follow up on it back because
Okay.
now it's an on-Reddit article. I
No, I don't want to know.
don't want to complain too much.
But yeah, I'm sending them. I say,
Yeah,
this little card we send out, and we could just work that into a magnet, and maybe do we have a phone number on there for more information? Give them our phone number
well, most people, I guess, our official.
or email. I mean,
I was thinking we should probably put Republic Services contact information on that because that's the official vendor for recycling in this community. And if you recall, they said that Republic Services doesn't take stuff to the Worcester County facility; they take it somewhere in Delaware. Right? They said.
Yeah.
So that I think Republic Services would be a better contact or email. They actually have a pretty good section on their website. I'll send you a link.
I thought the guys were saying that the stuff comes from the pines. No, what?
No.
No.
Yeah, we would probably just use what Public Services has. They do have a good little section on recycling. It's just I've become more ever since that visit. I've become more conscious of this little plastic thing is too small. It's got to get like when they always say either just toss your caps on bottles or keep them on. I've been just unfortunately tossing them more often because I imagine if they become detached and it gums up the works.
Right. I still been taking my glass down to the recycle center. Even though he said we could come mix it, I just thought make it easier on the guys. I don't know why.
Well, I actually, talking about our exhibits, I was hoping there's a place called Baltimore over in the outlet center, outlet mall.
Bad for it.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if some places will actually let you bring your own containers in. So instead of going and buying, like a bag of beans, you just go there and bring your own clean container, and they weigh the containers before you fill them. But they don't do that there. Baltimore does have, they said, oh, you can bring in a clean cloth bag. Think about that, because then you'd probably have to take the bag home and dump it into a jar. Yeah, because it's great to. Glass jars are a great way to store things. And normally, because you can, obviously you can see what's in them. You have to put a label on it and save space in the pantry. So we talked about maybe having some demonstrations of that. The other thing I was trying to get into were instead of buying shampoo and bottles and body wash, you can buy bars that do the same thing. I actually tried some things from the birthplace company. It was okay. But they do sell some of that stuff at the Baltimore store, but you can get it anywhere. But it's like instead of like plastic bottle for shampoo, plastic bottle for conditioner, plastic bottle for body wash, you could buy just bars that do the same thing. I have a few that I could just bring as a demonstration so people can see what they look like. I would say that my experiment with the shampoo bar, it didn't last as long as a bottle of shampoo. But yeah,
I experimented with it too.
oh yeah,
Well, by the time initially I loved it, but about halfway through it just started breaking in pieces, and I'm finding myself like using a piece
you know
trying
what
to.
brand it was?
I don't remember. I got it on Amazon, so I could figure it out. But that was it was just it didn't.
The ones that I got did not do that.
Okay,
But they, you know, and they actually sell like little soap saver
yeah, I have
Rats.
those. Yeah,
that, you know, help keep it from, you know, getting gummy, but
Yeah.
they just didn't last as long as I
Yeah.
hoped.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know, it's a good idea. It's,
Yeah.
you know, one way to cut down on, because we all apparently have all kinds of microplastic in our bodies and brains now and stuff. So,
well, and you know, body wash. We used bars of soap for years and years and years and years and years. How did we get on this body wash?
yeah, I'd like to tell that to my husband. Because he's like, goes through that like crazy. But the body wash bar seems to last a little bit longer. The
Yeah.
conditioner bar, because I don't use it every day, lasts a long time. But yeah, just another way. Any other ideas for ways to what we talked about repurposing things too?
Yes, and I have a couple of things that I've done, and so I'm working on demonstrations for repurposing things.
I actually ordered a tablecloth for our exhibits. Well, it's a green tablecloth, and it's the kind that kind of goes over the whole table and secures under the legs, so that it's a nicer look.
Yeah.
It's you know, I can find uses for home too. So I have that. I just don't know about being out there where it gets real windy out there sometimes. I don't know about having anything on an easel or what kind of signage we could have. Maybe something that gets taped to the front of the table, just because. And I hadn't filled out that for it. Do you want
Yeah, I have yeah, well, I just want to talk a little bit. Well, since we're on it, well, two things. One, we talked about this before: the reduce, reuse, recycle in that order, and then so I'm envisioning a
section?
section explaining that. I read through the information that they gave us, and maybe it's me, but I found this really interesting. So I would like to put some of this. I mean, there are questions and answers, and maybe
Is that
even-
from the county?
we got it. Yeah,
I
like
get one of those.
well, like I for some reason you probably didn't get it because I came home with like 6 copies
Oh,
on
okay.
it. So I think I take that back.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have one of these? You want one?
Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
You're welcome. And maybe even just verbatim with this on board.
On a big poster or something.
Figure out, yeah, on poster, which I can figure out how
I
to.
still have the phone cord
Okay.
with what's our logo across the top.
Okay.
Brother. So,
And one of the questions on the exhibitor form, and you know, again,
It's just, do we need electricity?
yeah, and I don't think it makes sense to try and put a TV out there or stuff.
so bright last time.
Okay.
And I actually for umbrellas that has the a screw bottom hole, and it's very sturdy in the wind. So I could offer that because we'll make some shade. So, you know, and I can be there for that Saturday. Just,
The other thing that I'm thinking is reusable things like we can have, and these are things we can pick up cheap just to have the demonstration, but reusable straws. And they, you know, you buy them.
Oh, yeah, metal
and they come with metal straws, and it comes with a brush and everything. The other thing, which in my previous year, one of my friends used these all the time, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. But I have the bowl rain caps that you put on top of your bowls
oh yeah, those are
instead of
putting plastic.
plastic on. Yeah, and you just and then there was another thing that I thought of that was popped out of my head, but. Things that have some of those things for demonstrations too, kind of make people think about Oh, I know. My daughter-in-law uses the reusable baggies. They're,
Yeah.
first of all, they're made from,
I have one of those. Yeah, they're
yes,
they're still plastic, but you can wash them and use them over and over
yes,
again.
exactly. But have some of those things out to,
Yeah, I used to save hotel shower caps, shower bowls.
but yeah, I have one in my bag of those bowls, of those things. I have a hotel shower.
The hotels don't give out as much stuff as they used to, but
No.
yeah.
So anyway, I'm working on things like that to also display, to get people to think about.
I can certainly bring examples of reusable water bottles. I have many of them. You know, there's now people are getting more concerned about using anything that's plastic, but you know, metal. I have a metal one that I use more frequently just because I don't want any more plastics in my brain. But it's we're now saying that scientists are finding that we all have a lot of micro. And what I would like to do is just try to encourage people not to buy water in plastic bottles. It's a waste.
When I was at the Washington Aqueduct, and this had to do with drinking, trying to make people drink tap water, but I did a display once on the cost of water. So what, like ABI, and then like Deer Park in the gallon, and then in the gallon
We'll have
jugs,
those.
and then down to coming out of the tap where it's pennies on the dollar versus dollars. And so, but that was a money thing. You have to get people to trust the
Tap water.
tap water.
I'll bring a Brita pitcher. That's what I use.
Well, I drink tap water everywhere I go because I was a water professional and
It's safe.
I trust it.
We're very lucky because many parts of the world they don't have safe water.
Right, exactly.
We do. So I'll bring a Brita pitcher. That's another demonstration. If you don't
Yep. No, that's
you
great.
don't like the taste of your tap water or feel that it might have, they do filter stuff out. I mean, you look
But
at
they
the
filter on chlorine. Do you keep it sitting on your counter?
No, I keep it in the refrigerator.
Because it filters out the disinfectant. So if you have it sitting on your counter and it sits there too long, you have the run risk of it growing things. Because it filters out the disinfectant. Well, that's why it tastes better, because
Yeah.
it filters out the chlorine.
Yeah, because I have a pretty old refrigerator here and I don't have, filtered water through
Yeah.
the freezer or whatever.
So keep it in the fridge.
Well, this is a question maybe for Patty. I have a zero water bill, and it's
No.
like a Brita,
Uh-huh.
but it's better.
Okay.
So, and it comes with a test,
Okay.
a water test. So,
Well, the Brita pitchers, the one that I have has a little test thing on the top of it. You test, it'll tell you when the,
When the filter's spent.
yeah, but
mine
that's when
has,
stuff
mine has a little
they have.
thing about this size that you can remove from it. And
Okay.
you can test your water.
All
So
right.
I tested the tap water at my house.
Maybe you should bring yours. So
and
they
it
have
was
two guys.
90
Ooh.
parts per million. I don't know parts of what, but then that's you. But then I did mine after zero, and it was 1. So it's doing a lot, but not sure what it's taken out.
I don't know I don't know what it's testing.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
Is it testing chlorine?
what is it testing?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Anyway, so we have maybe a couple of examples of those.
What's the
Zero. Let's go zero.
Zero.
Zero. Zero what?
Okay.
Maybe would you agree to bring it as a demonstration? Could you?
Sure, yeah.
All right, we'll have to start putting a list of these things
Yeah.
together, and then Patty, you'll have to decide. If you're not going to be there, deputize me or somebody else to
Okay.
set up the exhibit.
Yeah.
I did in reading that there's the application there. It's pretty strict. I know we're getting close to when you have to leave, Jeff. So
You guys think he's going, but I certainly do.
Yeah, I read.
the parking is limited over there. But I'm close enough that I could run things back and forth if I had to.
Well, not bringing the TV and
Yeah, that's
going to be that's going to simplify a lot.
Well, Jeff, are you leaving?
Yeah.
A quick question. I don't know what you think about this, but we're still down 2 members.
yeah.
I was curious, is it legal to add that at the end of your Green Street article? By the way,
Sure, I could do that.
Then is that a bad idea? I don't know. We're interested in the environment.
It goes out every week in the e-blast that there, committees that have vacancies. And I don't know, maybe if people are interested in our committee.
I think putting it, if it is okay to put it at the end of the Green Street, we should more effective because I, for one, on the Beasley things, I'll just skip past the things that I think I already know. Like, yeah, we know the committee. But if you see it at the end of an article that's showing the things that we do,
I'm already interested.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Right.
Yeah, and if you know anybody, obviously that would be interesting to have. Okay. So Jeff, if you want to
Sneak out. Yep.
sneak out, and then if we want to continue, you want to continue talking about the exhibit, or
Good seeing everybody.
Jeff,
Let Jeff take care.
Let me just say something for Jeff. According to this website, free chlorine levels should range between 2 and 4 parts per million. Below 2, there's not enough chlorine to kill the bacteria, and more than 4, it starts smelling like a chlorinated swimming pool.
So maybe that's for Brian and his water.
Good.
All right, take care.
Yep.
So more discussion about the exhibit, or another thing that I want to throw out there, because we had talked a while ago about doing a cleanup day. And I was just wondering if we couldn't just promote that at the exhibit. And, I have all these plastic bags that come from Food Line, just, hand it out here. Maybe when you walk in, people are going to probably get a bag from somebody to put their swag in. Or do we still want to try to do a separate cleanup day? As I said, the Surf Riders Association, is that what it is? They're ocean people. They do cleanups at ocean. So, it doesn't make sense to collaborate with them, but
April 22nd is Earth Day.
I know it's a
And
Tuesday.
I think we should do something, even if it doesn't get much traction. I would volunteer to clean up, cut out vines, those kinds of things.
Do you think doing something on a weekday? Because I think it's April 22nd is a Tuesday. It's also an anniversary soon.
Yeah, that is a tough day, and maybe it's the weekend before.
Let me see. Does that run into Easter or? Get my calendar up.
No, Easter's the 20th.
Okay. So
Easter's the 20th.
So maybe it would, well, according to my calendar,
Oh.
Easter's the 20th.
I thought there might be a conflict with Easter, but
So
Yeah,
that is the
it will.
weekend.
It will.
So you want to do it the weekend, Clown? Do it Saturday. But people might be out of town.
I'm sorry. What are we going to be doing?
Cleanup associated with Earth Day.
Right.
Pick up trash.
Well, we're all off during the week. Is that good weekend?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. We have our meeting the day after Earth Day, actually. So I know it'd be here anyway, here for Easter. We could do it on the 19th, Saturday. It's Holy Saturday,
Yeah, we
Mr. Jasper, said,
weekend.
what does everybody think about maybe just actual Earth Day?
23rd,
The 22nd.
weekend. That works.
Don, you said you could do it on the 22nd, right?
I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
So I guess we have to,
That's our trail we're talking about.
well, we're
Trail. Throughout Ocean Pines, those vacant lots that collect trash because nobody owns it.
Well, maybe, Don, if you could kind of make up a list of places that we would want to send people out to, because we can't all go to the same place. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And we can, I guess, maybe a charging document for make sure this gets official Ocean Pines approval.
Right.
I'll work on that.
Could you also add on to that, the eradication of vines,
Yep.
invasive vines? And I do have a call into Taylor to come out and take a look at the Southgate Pond.
What about just clearing the vines or something else?
Yeah, just cutting the vines out, retard them a little bit because they'll probably come back. But there's 1 and 2 inch vines on those trees.
Well, if he if he has materials that could, help us with that, like, does he have like paper recycling bags? We'd have to get in like Republic Services to do a special pickup.
When I
Yeah.
when I was at the aqueduct, when I'd have a bad day at lunchtime, I'd go across the street and take my clippers and just clip the vines off at the ground and just leave them. And then as time went on and they died, then I'd start pulling them down because they hang on. And then so we can pull them down, but it might be easier to let them die and go back in room.
Maybe Don could get Taylor's opinion on that. Is cutting enough and just waiting for dieback, or do we need to they choke trees? That's the main problem, right?
Right. They choke trees, they put added weight on them, and they create more of a sail effect in high winds. And that could bring the trees down into the pond or wherever they might be.
Yeah, and I know that I'm constantly battling wisteria because you can cut it down to the ground and it, unless you dig up the roots, it just keeps growing. And those pods that it produces, you can actually hear those popping open in the fall, and they release little seeds, look like little coins about the size of a quarter. They're extremely prolific. Thank you to whoever decided, hey, this is an attractive plant. Let's start selling these in garden centers.
I participated in a wisteria eradication effort with Maryland Coastal Bays at the Bishopville prong site, and it was it's a losing battle. I mean, it's just so bad. And so I just went to trees that had 2-inch vines on them and started cutting those things out because it's just so prolific. I mean, it was more of an awareness event, I think, rather than, hey, we're gonna clear this area. So
these are two separate things. The cleanup is specifically
Yeah.
trash, and then
I think Don is suggesting that we include, if we have different crews for different spots, we identify some spots that need it the worst, and maybe that there could be a crew around the Southgate Pond specifically working on vines.
Yeah,
I could bring my clippers.
Yeah,
loppers, I guess. The really thick vines that you're talking about. You have to have some better tool. You can't just get them with a secateurs.
Yep.
Loppers. Okay. Or hatchets.
but the one thing I'd want to make sure is that the Parks and Recs committee are acceptable to this.
Okay, well, maybe that would be a way for us to collaborate.
Yeah, they might be able to help us out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I can get the attention of Becky, seems to be busy all the time. Okay, Parks and Rec. Yeah, the more committees we get, I don't know. You think marine activities would be interested in collaborating on a cleanup day?
It's certainly something to present. I know they do with the
Marina or
marine cleanup at the end.
the plunder.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to ask them rather than the finance committee.
Okay, I crosstalk, Don. I didn't hear you.
I think it's better to ask the Marine Committee rather than the Finance Committee.
we have the Marine Committee here.
Did you know that we have a chance for the Marine Committee?
Good.
Marine activities. That's Don.
I'm observation only. I'm not supposed to talk.
You're allowed to talk. We encourage. I don't think we follow Robert's rules to be nth degree here. We pretend. Yes.
So I have a yellow bag. It's too big. It's about this big, and it's made from. Looks like it's made from woven plastic. One of the environmental organizations gave them to us when Maryland Coast. Somebody
It wasn't Coastal Bays. It might have been Coastal Trust.
Trust.
Yes, I have one of those too. Those yellow bags.
Yes,
I think those are for picking up
they help.
debris.
And that's my point. I wonder.
The mesh bag.
Yes,
I've got one too. It's huge.
Right. So my point was, I wonder if they have like scads of those bags that they could, because they were just handing them out. They brought a pile of them. If
Was it, who else was it? It was probably Coastal Trust.
If they had
It
those
was.
bags and if
It was done? Okay.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So maybe Taylor has more of those they could offer to us. And, yeah.
if they could give us a few dozen of them and, trash pickup bags to the first 2 dozen people to visit our place. I don't know. It was just a thought because it seemed like they were
cleanup day.
they were encouraging taking those to use them, which I mean, we all use them because we all do the same
I
thing.
thought they'd be great for beach combing, the sand.
That's what I understand. The Florida with us.
Yeah.
Shells in it so that sand would come.
But yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I saved mine. I think
Yeah.
it's hanging in the house somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought about that.
Okay, well, if Don thinks the Coastal Trust might want to work with us on the vines, maybe, the vines probably aren't going to go in the bags. They might. I don't know if you. I know when you are working with wisteria, the vines themselves are very tough. I usually have to kind of bundle them up to get them into the yard waste bags, because and they could be so long, they could, be like length of a street. But anyway, okay. So now we have another event. We're going to call it the Earth Day Cleanup. But if anybody has a better name for it, let's go. Earth Day Community Cleanup. And that will be on Earth Day, April 26th. And again, I will see about putting together a charging document about that. We want to make sure it gets posted on the signs, it goes out in e-blast, and I'll have to get on that right away because it will be April before you know it. Okay, and then, again, we'll reconvene.
Because we'll have to figure out how we're going to organize it and how many people are coming and where we're going to send people and how we're the materials that we're going to need. I mean, there's a lot of logistics to.
And where is this?
Well, we're talking about multiple sites within Ocean Pines for cleanup. Specifically the Southgate Pond, which has a lot of invasive vines. That would be one area. And you, maybe Don, you can identify some of these vacant lots that you've seen a lot of trash in. I just see, living near the Southgate, people just toss, they buy a soda or something and they just toss the stuff on the ground, which is, so I think right around the Southgate entrance area is a good wet place to have a crew to just for trash, in addition to the vines. But then other areas, around the yacht club, is that kept pretty clean. The cigarette butts. Don, remember your big container of cigarette butts?
It was water, airplane bottle of alcohol.
Oh, the vinegar. Okay, but didn't you also collect butts? Because that's
I'm not a butt collector. I'm not a butt collector.
That.
But that's
I asked Don about that because I think that was absolutely astounding. That really brought it home. But he threw them away.
And I know he recycled them.
Yeah,
Bottles.
I went out to collect more the other day and I got like 6. But I'm gonna see if I can get enough to
We can specifically have crews assigned to pick up cigarette butts, and you can't. They're too small to pick up with a picker. You have to wear gloves. But again,
Don't they just
no.
into
There's plastic in them. The
Rather.
filters have plastic in them.
Oh, really?
yes.
People don't realize that they're putting plastic into the ground, and it takes years. As we know, it takes years and years for plastic to biodegrade. So it's like when people just toss a cigarette butt into the water, it's like, don't do that. I'm amazed when you go to the yacht club, how many people, if you go around the smoking area, but also not just the smoking area, you'll find cigarette butts wedged in between the pavers. It's just, it's bad for your health and it's bad for the environment.
Double back.
Okay. So anything else we want to talk about today before we go our separate ways? All right. Well, we have plenty to work on. So
Yeah.